Hello world and welcome to World's End Tarot. It's been a while, so we're going to be doing a pick a card general spirit check-in. Just finding out the messages from spirit and the universe that you need to hear right now. Before we start, I just want to say hello to anybody that has recently subscribed. You know who you are. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. I'm going to be using Denise Lynn's Sacred Forest Oracle deck to start us off. We're just going to pick our cards for each of your options, and I want you to feel calm and embodied and within your breath as you look at these cards and choose the one that you feel most drawn to. So for pile one, please, Spirit, please can we have the message for pile one? We have Foggy Bog and Patience, and that's coming up with the clear crystal. Pile two, please, Spirit, for the Quantum Quattro. Pile two, please, Spirit, for the Quantum Quattro. Message, thank you. We have Winter Spirit, Manifesting Dreams. That's coming up with the Quantum Quattro stone. And for pile three, please, the Moonstone, thank you. We have Enchanted Fern Grotto, Refuge, pardon me. So let's give you guys a little bit of a closer look at the stones, as well as the corresponding cards. So this is Foggy Bog and the crystal. Foggy Bog, Patience, the number 18 here with a stork. That's for pile one. And then we have pile two, which is Water Spirit, Manifesting Dreams, and that comes with the Quantum Quattro stone. I'll bring up a little closer for you to see. That comes up with the number 46 and has some otters in the picture. Then for pile three, we have the Enchanted Fern Grotto. And this is with the Moonstone. That is coming up with the number 16 and depicts a fairy of some kind, pixie or a sprite. And the word there is refuge. So take your time. The readings will be found in the description box, and I will see you soon. Messages for pile one, who chose the Foggy Bog. Hi pile one, let's find out what Spirit has in store for you right now. What messages need to come through? What messages do you need to hear? Messages for pile one, please. Oh, pardon me. I feel like that's all going on there. I just want to keep this fresh. I feel there's another message in here. For pile one, please. Another one, please, for pile one. Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. So, I'm going to start with these oracle cards, and then we have some moonology cards, and I have 2 decks of tarot also to go into the reading. Okay, so let me take a swig of my tea. I'm going to get into this, finding out what we have here for pile 1 with the foggy bog and patience. We have commitment. I'm going to show you this a little bit as well, so that you can take any messages that maybe I'm not picking up on, that you yourself understand. Then we have, ooh, heal the ouch. That's quite a fun card. Something interesting about that one. We have clarity, which is really nice, and I feel like clarity is speaking to the choice of the stone that you chose, pile 1, because that is also a stone of clarity, of revealing truths, of clarifying the mind. We also have transformation coming up here. For those of you who have comfort in the symbolism of butterflies, that might be interesting to you yourself. And last of all, we have happiness. Okay. So pile 1, I'm already getting this idea that there is currently going on some kind of moment of there's a part of your path that is ending, and you're in that place in the limbo stage before something else begins. That's what I'm getting at. It's not necessarily a difficult place to be, but there is certainly something going on with you where it's slightly uncomfortable, and the moment where things are stiller than you're used to them being feels quite uncomfortable. And there's definitely a feeling of past hurts that are now needing to be addressed before you move on. There's also a tendency for you to be yearning for the next step to begin, and not understanding quite that you can't rush these things, that transformations take time, that there is a chrysalis period that you are currently in that's coming through with the patience that we were attracted to before, because there's a hanged man presence with this particular card for me. And there's a reassessment as well about what kind of things you want to be doing with your life, whether or not you are wanting to commit to the next stage or maybe go a different direction. And part of that emotional clarity that you're needing to actually engage with is about looking to the lessons that you have learnt along your way, and thinking about those past traumas, those past regrets and hurts that you now have an opportunity to really address them, to have them really truly be in the past as you move over into the next part of your life. And what I'm getting from Spirit is this is a commitment to yourself, to be making to yourself, a commitment to healing yourself, a commitment to being truthful with yourself, to seeing things with an objective lens as opposed to being emotionally wrapped up in those things, so that you're actually able to empower yourself to move on and transform into a different place. A stronger, more beautiful presence awaits you if you're able to take these lessons and really use them to transmute and transform yourself, because healing the ouch is really the biggest sort of part of this first part of the reading that's giving me advice from Spirit. This is talking about, I mean, therapy, yes, but really this is self-therapy. This is really you assessing things that you haven't really given yourself an opportunity to assess before, that you haven't really felt comfortable. It's not nice, this is a thing, it's not a very pleasant experience to heal the ouch, to really go there and look at the things that you don't like about yourself, that feel ugly, that feel uncomfortable. But those are the things that are going to be the most transformative for you. You also seemingly have an opportunity here where there's space in your life to do this stuff. It's almost as if you have this connection to the truth and the connection with Spirit to see the truth. And it's going to reveal things about yourself which might be a little bit uncomfortable, but are really actually quite important to self-committing again towards something that's better for you. And I am getting the impression that there's a lull. It feels as if you're in a limbo. The moment before something else begins, the moment just after something has ended. Maybe you're not quite aware that it's ended either. It's more you in yourself, in that clarity of mind. You have this power to be able to help yourself. Because I'm really not getting that this is something that other people are providing you. I'm really seeing that you're quite empowered and in a position to do this inner work. And yeah, I'm really getting that this idea that you're committing to yourself. You're committing to the journey that you're on. You're not choosing to feel like you're not in control of your life. That is the other way that it's like you're seeing things in a more positive direction because you have decided that you are going to see it in a more positive direction. It's not like the situation is different, it's you that's changing. You're the person who's seeing and choosing to see things the way that will help you move past it in a positive direction. It's really quite admirable, because it's brave to see things how they are, or at least see things in a way that you don't feel comfortable, but you're still going to go do that work, that spiritual work to heal yourself and commit to yourself to do that, commit to that time that it takes. The way to get there as well, we'll investigate this further, because I do want to see a couple of extra messages I'm going to need to pull from the cards. But so far it's looking really good. It's looking really good for you, pile one, in a way that I'm just like, it's almost as if Spirit's communicating that currently things aren't moving. They don't feel like they're moving very fast. And I feel like we're talking about the externals. We're talking about the external world, where things are not moving fast enough for us to feel like we're seeing progress. But Spirit is talking about the profound shift in energy that's going on within you, in yourself, where you are committing to yourself, you're committing to looking after yourself, you're committing to doing deeper spiritual work, to seeing things clearly, to having that clarity of mind, that clarity of spirit, so that you can then choose to transform yourself and lead yourself into a place of absolute happiness, positivity, of balancing yourself back into somewhere that's much healthier. And I see this symbol of the butterfly coming through again here in this card here with happiness. We have this butterfly flying amongst this moment of happiness for the figure involved. This is you, just as you being in that place where you've got there through hard work. You haven't just decided to be happy. You've actually gone back and had to think about the patterns of mind that you were currently in the past and also currently are within. Really seeing things clearly with an objective, not an emotional glance, seeing yourself and your failures for what they are, having that self-compassion, and choosing to change. This is what we're getting through here with this transformation. It's like you're upgrading yourself. It's very much a glow up. That's what's happening. So it's really nice to see this pile one. It's encouraging messages, because I feel like we're coming at you right now with a place where it feels like nothing much is happening. And the Spirit is coming to me saying, double down on your commitment to yourself. You deserve better. But this is something that's to do with yourself and your relationship with yourself. Interesting, pile one. I want to see a couple more messages. Let's see from Moonology. I might actually even take some more cards from our Sacred Forest Oracle deck, because I am pretty curious. I feel like it's almost as if I feel like it's a complicated message, but I also feel it's super simple. And I find that quite curious. I wonder if you agree with me on that one. That doesn't feel quite right. Come here. Give me a message for pile one, please. I need a message for pile one. Thank you. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. I would like another message, please, for this second, please. Can I have another message for pile one, please? Thank you. Okay. Nothing will come of this situation. Void, of course, moon, and the energy is gaining momentum, the waxing moon. I really like this for you, pile one. I have... We're being reminded by Spirit, you're in a situation that's not really helping. Nothing is going to come of it. So you need to do something. And this is... It's almost as if Spirit is telling me, there's two different versions of this. One is that you're in a situation that's feeling quite stagnant, and the only thing that is in your power is to change it, because it's not going to change on its own. That's one version of things. So this is about taking action, taking responsibility for the direction of your life, that the situation at hand isn't going to change, so you're going to have to change, which I think I've actually already said. So that makes sense. That's just a repetition of the earlier messaging we were getting. The next bit is also, again, talking about energy within yourself is gaining momentum. If you start to recommit to yourself, it's almost like the ball's going to get rolling. That's going to be gathering momentum. This is something that you begin, though. You're the one that gives it that first push off the hill for it to start gaining energy. You are the person that is in control of this situation changing or not changing or staying the same. It's fine to have patience with the situation at hand, maybe yes with yourself, but ultimately this is a stagnant situation that you need to take control of yourself. Recommit to your goals, recommit to yourself, recommit to the ambitions that you have within yourself or the responsibilities that you have to other people, because this is something that you are in control of. And the energy that is going to come through with this, as you start to take initiatives in your life to push it in the direction that you want it to go on, whether or not that's taking a little bit more time to really think about what you want to do before you move, or if you already decided it's time to actually take those actions, those steps towards that goal. Basically, it's this idea of once you get going, it's going to be easier. It's almost as if Spirit's telling me the first step's the hardest, deciding that you're going to take this step or choosing the direction you're going to take the step in. That's the hard bit. But once you've decided and you decide to commit to that, things get easier from here on out. You need to stop being stagnant because you're actually choosing to be stagnant. That's how I'm feeling about that. There's a choice here now. You actually have to choose. You actually need to get on with it. I hope that makes sense to the situation you're finding yourself in, pile one, because that's what the messaging is coming through. It's curious to me, I need to tell you as well, that messaging is not coming through super strong. It's coming through quite gentle. So I don't think that this is calling for drastic measures. I do think it's calling for pragmatism, but it is calling for practicality and practical steps, materialistic steps towards the goal that you have. And more importantly, one of the first steps towards that goal is dealing with your crap. Dealing with that emotional excess, dealing with the things that are making you feel unhappy. I'm just pulling up some cards now from the tarot for some messages for pile 1. Let's see what else we're getting here. I just want to know some extra things alongside our oracle cards for I really like you. Haha. Well, look at this. We have a lot of action happening now here. It's so nice seeing this. There's such a progression through your cards. It's really like a beginning end of story. So I'm getting some clues as to what else we need to do here. This is really, really interesting and kind of, gosh, okay. It's really nice, but I wasn't expecting things to be so simple. Quite often when I do readings, I sometimes feel like there's so many messages coming at me that I'm not able to articulate them all. This is the first time in a while that I've seen such a progression, like a hero's journey of storytelling going on in your cards. So here's some clues. Healing the ouch. We have 4 of Wands underneath this here. So almost as if these 2 cards are mirroring each other. Do you see this with the way that there's this archway coming through here and there's growth happening, and I'm seeing that there's archways, there's growth. This healing the ouch, you're going to find a lot of the resource for healing in your own family. If you're actually someone who is partnered, that's probably going to be where a lot of this healing ouch is it's possible for you to self-soothe yourself, reparent yourself from past hurts in early childhood. That's what I'm reading. Through healthy relationships with loved ones that didn't maybe necessarily know you when you were a kid. So we're talking about, for most of you, that's going to be a healthy life partner or a trusted boyfriend or girlfriend or best friend. But there's certainly this idea of this healing happening through you rebuilding and building your own life on your own terms, and building a life that you want to live, not feeling so trapped up in the past, committing to things too. I do feel for some of you are going to be choosing to get married or move in with each other. There's a commitment here with the home. For some of you, you're going to be making choices to move in together or buy a house together. There's something going on for some of you with that, where something about that move, something about that new chapter for you is actually going to feel very healing. Just something about taking control over stuff that's happened to you and not being a victim to it, not choosing that version of the story, choosing the version where you're the victor and that you get that happily ever after. But in a practical sense, not in a romanticized Disney princess sense, like an actual practical sense where you take control over your life. And I know I've said for many of you that's going to be within a partnership, and that's partly because the 4 of Wands is a really lovely indication of healthy, happy marriages coming up. But this doesn't need to be something that's just for those of us that are partnered. This is also for those of us that are single. And this is you taking control over your domain, you actually cleaning up house, you making your space safe for yourself, and building a happy, healthy life that makes you feel good. Taking control of looking after yourself in a way of reparenting yourself, healing that mother wound. And I'm seeing that coming up here with 6 of Cups underneath clarity. A lot of that card for me, the combination of that card is talking about looking back on your childhood in a way that's more productive, in terms of that you can understand yourself better. You can understand some of those ouches better because you're going to see some of those first wounds that come up for everyone. in our childhoods, a lot of the clues as to why we are the way we are in our adulthood are to do with the type of childhood that we had. It just is part and parcel of the way that our brains develop, you know, that there's going to be some clues to why you perceive the world certain ways, and they're going to be in your childhood. So I would actually say for some of you seeking therapy for early childhood experiences, just actually thinking a little bit, journaling a little bit as well about what, just your story, your version of events in terms of how you tell yourself you were as a kid. There are clues here in your childhood. That's what this is indicating to me. Some clues as to why you are processing things a certain way is in that story that you were telling yourself as a child, or the story that you tell yourself about your childhood now. For example, I find commitment really hard because my parents got a divorce and that really upset me. And actually going into that place properly with a professional, talking about what it was like as a child to receive these messages, and how for a lot of us there's a point in our adulthood where we are no longer benefiting from the things that kept us feeling safe as a child, and we actually need to go and work out what were those messages that kept us safe as children that no longer actually help us to lead an authentic life now as an adult, and start to like really push those things aside. This is what I'm seeing with transformation. It's almost like you're going into the cocoon, you're working out what you need to heal, to grow, to move on, so that you can come up much better, much stronger, much more beautiful and empowered, because caterpillars don't fly, butterflies fly. There's a reason for that, you know? This is the part of your life where you're going to be becoming a butterfly. You're actually in control of your movements. You're in control of the way you see yourself. You're able to express yourself better. There's all these things, but you know, this doesn't happen suddenly one day. It happens after a process, and this is what Spirit's talking about. Spirit's ready for you to go through this process. Don't fight it. It's time for really being, this clarity of mind is actually really important for you to, you know, evolve, to be honest. And we're getting this message here about the evolution of your soul with the transformation and happiness. We're having this support message coming through with King of Swords, King of Wands. This is a time for you to really actually create things. I don't know if I'm speaking to many people who, this is so interesting. I don't know if many of you are people who are writers or novelists or something similar to that, because there's certainly for some of you this dual aspect of the intellectual and the creative. There are projects for you coming up here where that intellectual side and that creative side are really coming into their own. And the reason I'm saying something like novels is because that's the only example I can really think of off the top of my head for the kind of that kind of 50-50 explanation of those types of activities that involve the pursuit of both the intellectual and the creative. Because these two figures here are really in their own power. They're really at the top of their game. It's almost as if they've got there. And I do see this as potentially for you, for those of you who are interested in career moves and also just graduating. There's something about graduating up. This is really a glow up I'm seeing here. You're glowing up, pile one, and it's powerful. It's not coming from nowhere. It's not as if you just turn up ready to go. You are about to do some really deep work that's going to lead you into places that you probably could never even perceive. Because I think that you, at this moment in time, don't really, it's almost like you have the clue that you could be bigger, better, stronger, happier. It's almost like you have this clue that you could get there, but you're not 100% sure how to do it. You're not 100% sure how to get to your dreams. And I'm being told by Spirit now that committing to yourself, committing to your dreams is the best investment that you can ever make. You're well within your rights to be taking what's yours. You're well within your rights to be developing as an artist, as a human, into something that is going to bring you a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness, a lot of connection, really a real healthy connection with yourself. There really is something about taking control of your life here. But the way and the clue to get there is to really examine why you are the way you are, what makes you unique. So there's going to be some things that come up here and you're like, yeah, those are painful lessons. But there's something in there about those painful lessons are almost the key to unlocking something better. It's like you work out something about yourself and you use that to make something better. There's a legacy too. It's almost actually, so for some of you, like I said, writing a novel, that's a good example of the kind of things that's encompassing both the intellectual and the creative. I actually just got a little bit of a message there through for some of you. This is also about parenting. It's not for, this is individualized. It's only going to be a few of you that I'm speaking to right now. There's something about you being a better parent. I don't know if some of you are about to become parents, but it does feel like there's something like a legacy happening here where you, in order to actually be, so in order to heal hurt that you have actually inherited from other generations, you are the first generation with the opportunity to actually heal that hurt and to not pass it down onto your children in the way that you were given it by your parents and their parents before them and their parents before them and their parents before them. There's something about looking into the clues of your childhood to work out how you could be better. So for those of you that are parenting and are thinking about parenting as I'm saying this, that's coming through, okay? And it's not for everybody. I understand that message is particularly, that's quite individualized. It's funny, but it's definitely there. The rest of us, this is more personal and is about some sort of creative development and a work environment actually too. It's almost as if there's this struggle and you can't quite word it, and it's like there's a lesson that it's like you know the lesson needs to be learned, but you're not sure how to teach it to yourself. Well, I'm getting looking into your past and your childhood is the best way for you to really actually move on from it. It's holding you back somehow, and you don't need to be held back anymore. You're really ready to have that graduation moment into something better. You're ready for the promotion. You're ready to be in charge of other people. You're ready to be leading. You're ready to be someone who's expressing themselves in a really clear, compassionate way. That's what I'm getting here. I want to go into the last deck of tarot cards and just sum up some of the messaging coming through for pile 1, please, from Spirit, because we need it and I enjoy it. I was so curious to find out what else is going on for you, pile 1, because your cards are beautiful, to be honest with you. It's a really gentle, happy energy coming through here, but I do still sense that right now just things feel like they're a little stagnant. So let's ask for some advice, please, for pile 1. Spirit, can we have some advice for pile 1? Some advice, thank you. Some advice, please, for pile 1. Advice, please, for pile 1. Let me see. I have a few knights coming up here, which I find very interesting. And yeah, okay. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Moon. That came last. We had 9 of Pentacles coming through. We had 8 of Swords coming through. And we had the Knight of Pentacles coming through here. So we have 2 knights coming up. And I was just saying, I have this 9 of Pentacles and I have the Moon and I have 8 of Swords, and I'm seeing somebody who has done an awful lot. It's like you've been doing really well, actually. You've managed to accomplish an awful lot. I feel like this is coming in at a time of around a decade or so. Like for quite a few of you, there's just been a significant amount of investment into the way that you live your life, and you've come up pretty like prosperous. You have accomplished a lot. You have a level of comfort that you're happy with. You have a level of resource and stability that you're happy with. But there's just this feeling of meh. Like, is this it? Like, is this all there is? I feel like there's more. I feel like I'm capable of more. And I'm feeling that way about Eight of Swords coming up here. Eight of Swords is coming up here. Just this feeling inside your head of feeling trapped and confused. It's not that you couldn't walk away and take off your blindfold at any point, which is basically what Spirit is suggesting you start to do. It's starting to choose not to deal with it in this way where you're beating yourself up. Actually beginning to see other ways of dealing with it. And again, this idea of using your own intuition with the moon coming up here, there's a shadow self aspect to all of this that is probably up until this point like slightly either misunderstood or completely ignored, where you're kind of like capable of getting more messages about what to do from internally that you've kind of been ignoring. Spirit is talking about using your intuition, using your own messaging within your body to actually think about yourself differently. I know I've been saying therapy, and I think that there's a lot in that, but this is also talking about self-intuition. It's almost as if Spirit's saying, you actually know what to do. You're kind of being stubborn. You're not really like using all of your tools. You're kind of just going, it's not going the way that I plan it to go, so I'm going to be frustrated and like choose to feel trapped. Because it's not actually as if you are. I'm not getting the impression that you really are trapped. I'm getting the impression that you're more comfortable feeling trapped. And there is encouragement here from Spirit, particularly with the Knights. This is slow and steady wins the race, but it's also take action. It's leading with the heart. And I'm saying that because we're getting Knight of Cups being represented here. We're talking about a romantic ideal. I mean, this is like the version of the Holy Grail in this representation. This Holy Grail here being the cup. It's something about going for something, a dream that you've long held, and continually choosing to see it a certain way. And whether or not that's a good thing is kind of up for you, pile one, because this is about what this intuition is. This is about independently, you as an individual watching this video right now, you as an individual know much more about your own life than I do. And so I'm being told by Spirit that you need to take more responsibility for your own stuff. You actually really need to do that deeper inner work. Are you prepared to continue on this particular path? Or is it time for you to actually be a little bit more realistic with yourself? These are the questions that are coming up here. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you the messages. There are two versions of events that you have here. One of them is continue on the path that you're already going on, continue to make those strides, continue to just take that step one at a time, one in front of the other, continuing, and stop beating yourself up. The other version of events is to look deep within yourself and ask, is this what you want to be doing forever? It's been great up till now. Is it still making you happy? Do you still feel excited about it? Do you still feel romantic about it and excited and romanticizing where you're at? Or is there something deeper actually waiting to be discovered and to be developed? Because these are the two choices I'm getting here. Regardless of your choice, I'm seeing Spirit sees you still feeling very much secure at the center of all of this. But there is definitely a choice of how to feel about your circumstances. And I think that this is all about leading with emotion. That's what we were getting before we got into these tarot decks with our original cards. This is about feeling which way to go and actually trusting your gut. It's about looking back at the past, about the way that you actually interpret things, the way that your childhood has given you tools and the way that the messaging of your childhood may actually be influencing you for better or worse right now. And in order for you to kind of level up, you need to do that inner work. Ultimately, Spirit is saying you're in control. And there might be a little aspect here, I must admit, where Spirit is saying, I can't actually help you until you help yourself. I don't know what you want me to do. You need to choose. You need to decide. And then I will help you. So pile 1, that was your message from Spirit today. Hope that you enjoyed this. If you want to see more of my readings, please subscribe. I'd love to have you back. But until then, have a really beautiful day and I will see you soon. Bye. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 2. Here we are. Let's get into your reading and find out what is going on with you. What messages Spirit needs you to hear right now. You chose the Water Spirit, Manifesting Dreams. It has otters on the, oh hi, it has otters on the card, which are really pretty and cool, and that's definitely wanting to speak to us. I'm going to choose another one actually too, just feeling in the mood. There we go, pile 2. Get some more oracle cards for you for the messages that Spirit needs you to hear right now. I had some technical difficulties on my first reading, so I really hope it doesn't happen for pile 2 right now. Something about my camera, I'm not sure what's going on there. Hi, there you go. I think maybe one more for pile 2, please, Spirit. One more for pile 2, please. I feel this one's coming up here too. Let's move all you guys along so you can see clearly. There we go, plenty of room. And then I'm going to choose a couple of cards from the Moonology deck. Thank you. And one more please for pile 2, and then we will see what we're dealing with. And I have also got 2 decks of tarot decks to choose from too in a little bit later. We'll clarify some of the messages coming through with our oracle cards. Okay, there we go. Thank you. So, Water Spirit, Manifesting Dreams with the Quantum Quattro. A really beautiful, satisfying blue rock with lots going on in it. Really big fan of that. And Manifesting Dreams, an interesting idea. Let's see what we are dealing with here, pile 2. We have slow and steady. Okay. We also have sacred pool. So more water. She reminds me of Ophelia. That was it Ophelia, the painting, the woman? She's surrounded by flowers and she's going down the river. Oh wow, so much more water. Ride the wave. You are a water spirit and some, aren't you, pile 2? We have protection coming through here. We have family coming through here. And then we have nothing will come to this situation. We have be bold and make the first move. We have really similar messages coming through. We got this card last time with pile 1, so you may have some messages in the first reading, pile 2. You may want to watch pile 1 as well. There may be some useful hints to your situation going on with that first reading. But let's just have a little think and a little look at what we now have for you here, pile 2. When we were coming through here with protection and family, I did hear some of you are, this is going to be about family planning for you. Which is obviously a different conversation for some of us who are in America compared to some of us who are in Europe. And I feel that that's what's coming up here with this protection ideal. There is just this slow and steady seeing how things go, trying to be sensible and trying to be very practical about going forward. There are some of us who have really wanted to start a family, and I can see that that is being heard by Spirit. The slow and steady ride the wave messages coming through here, along with manifesting dreams and the family, the protection. Spirit's with you, but at the same time, it's asking you not to overthink. It's asking you to just go with the flow. Pun not intended. This stuff is in the river. It's the river. It's flowing. There isn't. There's this message of trying not to. Oh, I hate it's pun incoming. Swimming against the tide. That is not advised. You are needing to go with the flow. You are needing to ride the wave. The way to manifest your dreams is actually to surrender a bit more. I feel like there's some of us are pushing against tides that are coming against us, and we need to just be in the river and jump as the wave comes in. Jump as the wave comes in. That is the feeling I'm getting to begin with here. It's also this idea of there's some of us that are overthinking certain situations. I feel like we may need to go into the tarot cards to really go into that deeper thought there. I feel like there is indication here that if you have a dream, pile 2, that you cannot actually go with the flow in that sense so much that you're not actually doing anything about it. Manifesting the dreams is not you sitting in a room in your own time, just hoping something will change just randomly, that you'll be plucked from obscurity, that you'll get that promotion without actually applying for it, etc. Right? There actually is. It's a real mixed message from Spirit, but there's this message that you actually need to decide to do what you need to do to get where you want to be. That although there is this idea that you may have that you just need to do one thing and then everything will be resolved, this is not truly the case. This is an indication from Spirit that the process that you're going on to get where you want to be is actually quite a long one, and they need you to just keep your head, to go with the flow, to keep steady, to keep going. Slow and steady wins the race, riding the wave. These are the things coming up here. You can't sit and just be stagnant though. So yes, slow, but it's not stagnant. Slow is taking one step at a time and going forward and taking the step in the first place to go ahead of yourself than where you were at before. This is some of the overall messaging coming through here. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm not being particularly articulate. It's like there's two different, well, not really actually, there's, depending on the situation, some of you are going to be hearing this a certain way compared to others. And there are definitely those of you who are wanting to get pregnant and actually want to start family planning or going through IVF fertility issues and stuff. That's actually coming up, and I'm saying that's going to take longer than maybe you want it to take, but not to lose your head during that. And then there's others of us who are not in that way at all, but are needing to actually take steps, actual practical steps towards getting what we want, and we're not really doing that. But at the same time, to not beat ourselves up that things don't develop at the pace that we would hope them to be developing at. Like there's this thing, Spirit is talking to us about not beating ourselves up, about things not going to the timetable that we really wish that they were going to. So I'm seeing things are going to take a long time. I'm seeing that you do need to actually be the person who's fighting to get things done. But at the same time, you need to be enough, you need to be in flow enough and adaptable enough to take things as they come. There's also chatter here. about looking after yourself. I can't emphasize enough how much water is coming through here. This is talking about emotional truth. We have the otters swimming in the lake, in the forest. We have a pool here in what I perceive to be kind of swampish area, and then we have the sea waves as well. This sacred pool is talking about taking time for ourselves to heal, which is something that we were seeing in pile 1 as well, which is why I would say to some of you, you do have messages in pile 1 that you need to be seeing. And family as well. This is about having support systems so that you can ride the wave better. This is about putting protections around yourself so that you have support, so that you have stability, because you're in for the long haul, pile 2. You need every single ounce of support you can get, whether it's coming from yourself or coming from those around you. And you do need to make some effort to get where you want to get to, okay? So let's go into the tarot and just see what we're working with here, because I'm curious. Well, there you go. Same exact place as well. Yep, thank you. Pile 1 had this exact placement in their read as well, so I do think some of you really do have messages in pile 1. That's the last I'm going to say about it. Right, pile 2 please. More messages for pile 2 please, Spirit. Give me some answers please. Messages for pile 2 please. Thank you. Messages for pile 2 please. Last one please. Messages for pile 2. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I have some hair on this one, it's annoying me. Pile 2. So what I was saying before about needing to have your family or your support system around you, it was echoed again just now when I took these tarot cards out. Funnily enough, you are going to be okay. You're going to be fine. But you're going to be fine partly because you are going to be prioritizing yourself at times of need. And you are going to be learning how to do that because you are going to be aware that your journey is a long one and that you need to pace yourself, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm getting the message of the Four of Wands coming through here with the sacred pool, and I'm seeing that you are going to be designing your home and those in your home as your safe space. That you are going to be in control of that place where you're able to relax, really take time out for yourself, to really be with yourself, to heal. It's almost as if you're going to be creating or have already created and will need to utilize your home as a place of sanctuary. And that is something that you're going to need to build or protect, depending where you're at. If you haven't built it, you need to build it. If you have it already, you need to protect it. It needs to be almost like a holy space for yourself where you're able to heal and take time out for yourself. That's what I'm seeing. The reason being is pile 2, you do have a lot of stuff ahead of you. It's going to be a little choppy for you, a little choppy waters. I'm sorry about all these puns that keep coming up with water. I don't know why, it's happening. It's not me making light of the situation. I just find it's a really good metaphor, and I think just we need to acknowledge the water spirit was what we were attracted to when we first chose this card for pile 2, so let's be fair about this. We have also got blue with our... There's a lot of water. I do wonder maybe if it's for you to be a little bit closer to water, if you can do that. That might actually help you feel calmer. Swimming and being by the beach, or getting having a jacuzzi with friends, or like, I don't know, like just anything that takes you into your body being in water. I feel like it's going to be really calming. And what about one of those, have you ever heard of these like silent flotation tanks or something? I mean, okay, that's a little wacky, but I do feel like there's something going on here where you're going to find water very comforting and very useful for your healing, and very useful for your sense of control within a situation that, frankly, pile 2, you need to be prepared for. It's looking like it could be quite hard to maintain stamina, okay? And I feel like Spirit is just giving you a heads up about that you're just going to need to buckle down, just get through it and just ride the wave. Your family is going to be some of the best part of this, and at times feel quite burdensome. Your family is a lot. That's what I'm getting. It's like a really joyful big family I'm getting. For a lot of you, or at least you have the potential to build a big, happy, big family, but it's going to feel quite like overwhelming. There's a lot of work involved. It's work that you enjoy. It's work that will give you a lot of purpose, that you feel very fulfilled by, but also it's quite tiring. And so I feel that there's this idea of pace yourself, pile 2, coming through with Spirit's message right now. This idea of protection as well is really interesting to me. I feel that you can get more in touch with the ideals of protection in like a spiritual sense, as in Mother Earth protector, as in like you being at one with the universe yourself on your own terms, through this sacred time spent alone in your own home with yourself and with your family, and with those safe spaces that you're going to be building for yourself. You do need to develop a relationship with your higher self here. Protection's talking about that. Yes, there is images of pregnancies on their way here. Protection's really reminding me of the Empress symbolism, very much so, a Mother Nature kind of symbolism here. It's not necessarily relevant for all of us, but there's an aspect of that. If you're someone who's struggling to get pregnant or is in a pregnancy right now, there does seem to be, it's almost as if you need to just like really buckle down and concentrate only on yourself in order to get through. That you really need to prioritize yourself above and beyond anybody else around you until you are safely through this particular point. It's not talking about selfishness, it's talking about practicality of protection for yourself. You need to protect yourself. And if you have an unborn child, you and your kid, this is about you prioritizing your needs so that you're able to give to other people as and when you are required to, which will be quite a lot significantly. I'm sorry like if this isn't really resonating for those of us who are not onto that that journey of parenthood. It's just that for some of us there's definitely that stronger message coming through, and I have to acknowledge that, since for some of you that's the message that you need to be hearing. But I will say, when we do talk about pregnancies and things like that, we can actually use that symbolism as things for other projects, things that we give birth to, other projects. So we're talking about creative projects that we make ourselves. So if you're an artist of any description, this can also be talking about that. Going through an artistic journey that's really tough, and that you need to have your stamina for, and that you need to prioritize yourself and your own needs above other people's to get through. And that being something that Spirit's on your side about. If you want to manifest the dream of whatever your dream happens to be, you need to prioritize yourself. You need to make active choices, because you are in control of your own journey here. Nothing's going to come in the situation unless you take the steps towards getting where you want to be. That's what I'm hearing, pile 2, okay? Here with the protection card though, the protection's coming because there is actually quite a lot of threat to your existential feeling. I mean, you're feeling under attack, and I'm getting that with the 9 of Wands, and that's legitimate. It's not just because you feel that way, it's in your head, it's not real. No, it's real, it's happening. You do need to protect yourself because there's actual threats. There are threats in different types of ways, whether that be spiritually or physically and emotionally as well. There's a lot going on in the world. And for some of us, this type of card comes up and it's a very practical kind of threat, like maybe our house is falling in, or somebody's out to get us at work, or something even more serious than that, like possibly not being empowered to have the right over what you choose to do with your own life, for example, put into law. Or, for example, something like being attacked by family members, maybe ousted by friends for saying something, or cancelled online, or something similar to this type of energy. This Nine of Wands energy is really difficult to manage. So all those types of things that I've just mentioned, I'm not saying it's any one of those things that you need to be cautious about or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you ideas so that individually, when you're listening to this, you can apply this to your situation. You can understand for yourself much better than me, because you're living your life. I'm not living your life. You're going to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this Nine of Wands, okay? Individually, you're going to know better than me. And so I'm saying that this is the reason why there's a protection card coming up for you right now. Pile 2, you do need to prioritize yourself and looking after your own interests, because I'm hearing that other people are not going to be doing that on your behalf, and you need to make sure that you're doing it on your behalf. I am also seeing that there is times of emotional and possibly financial trouble here, that things are going to feel really scary, that you're going to feel really alone, that you're going to feel put out and shut out, disempowered, and empty, bereft. And that I can see that the advice coming through, and I can feel it as well, the advice coming through is to actually just ride that wave. That there is a bravery and a power in surrender. We can't always fight every single thing that happens to us. We are not always in the position to change our situation quickly. And so sometimes what is required of us is to just get on, get our head down and get through. And also not to fight so hard that we actually burn ourselves out. This is about making sure that we are prioritizing the resources that we have at our disposal so that we can last as long as we can last and get through. Like I said before, slow and steady, taking time to relax and to be honest and worthy of ourselves, to build those structures in our family and our situation that feel safe, because we're going to really need them, really leaning on family, understanding that the hard work that we're doing is actually something that will really enrich our lives, is something that ultimately we're working towards because we want it, not because we have to do it, but because it actually really is part of what makes our life feel good for us to live. And really, putting ourselves first, because there is some nasty stuff going on around you. And pile 2, you need to make sure you're prioritizing your own protection so that you're able to be in a position of power to help other people too, and to help your own family as well, okay? I'm going to go deeper into the advice that we're leaving off this reading with. We're going to be going into the Wandering Star Tarot, and I am asking for some advice. It's really interesting. These guys came up together. We have the Creator saying no. We also have 8 of Swords, feeling trapped, frustrated, feeling anxious. It's really interesting after what I've been talking about before. Can I have some more advice, please, for pile 2? I have some more advice for pile 2, please. Thank you. Oh gosh. We're getting 2 cards at the same time there. We have Ace of Pentacles. We have Knight of Swords. Yep. I need one more, please. One more. Thank you. King of Pentacles. Okay, pile 2. Okay. Yes. This is about long-term thinking again. This is about saying, not no, but having really strong boundaries. You are going to have situations coming up, and Spirit is pre-warning you. You're going to have situations coming up where you're feeling really trapped and really frustrated and really anxious. And part of being able to protect yourself is by having strong boundaries with people who are taking the absolute proverbial. This is what the Creator is talking to me about. You are in a position of power to say no. Saying no is one of the most powerful sentences in the English language. Please remember that you can use that. You do need to, again, put yourself first. Think about your long-term goals. I have the Ace of Pentacles coming up with the King of Pentacles. That's a full journey of Pentacles here. We're starting from new beginnings and prosperity and like new projects and building, getting new ideas, coming all the way through into the King of Pentacles and actually being on top of the world, being in a place of visionary generosity, reliability, someone who's able to provide for everybody else around him. That's where we're going here on this journey, but it does require you to say no. It does require you to be somebody who is putting yourself first, and it requires you to be actually quite, at times, cutting. And someone who is being quite truthful and honest. With the Knight of Swords coming through, that's like a feeling of words. It's you're cutting to the crap, cutting to the chase. You're not afraid to fight for what you need. You're not afraid to fight for your rights. You're not afraid to fight for your priorities to be met. And it will at times feel quite uncomfortable and maybe a little bit uncomfortable because you're not used to doing that. But it's almost as if you've worked out that that's what's required, and so that's what has to happen. In order for you to get where you need to be, you actually have to do that. You need to be ruthless almost. Not completely was it inhumane? Oh, I don't know if that's a word. I hope you know what I mean. Not someone who is lacking humanity, not someone who is doing things to hurt other people. It's just that you can't prioritize other people's needs over your own needs, no matter how they feel about it. You're the only person on the planet who's able to live your own life. And I'm not talking about like doing the dirty over other people so that you get ahead. I'm talking about if you need to prioritize yourself, you do not feel guilty about it. You just do it, okay? That's what's coming through here. You have a duty to yourself to live your life in the way that you're living. And I'm already seeing that you're someone who gives an awful lot, that you're someone who feels frightened yourself, that you deserve other people to look after you too. But I'm also seeing that you're guilty of being quite passive. You're guilty of being too passive and then being surprised that things don't work out in your favor. But if you're not actually making any moves towards where you want to get to, how on earth is anything supposed to work out in your favor unless it's just luck? You actually do need to do something to get towards that. And I'm not seeing you as somebody who is work shy or frightened particularly. I'm seeing you as someone who just needs to be warned by Spirit that the journey that you're on is actually a really long one, and one of the major lessons Spirit wants you to remember as you go on it, that you're absolutely within your right to prioritize your own needs and your own self when you must, okay? Boundaries are important, and it's not worth it for you to prioritize other people because you need to prioritize yourself too, okay? So pile 2, that was your reading. I hope that message for you was what you were needing to hear right now. If you enjoyed my reading, please consider subscribing because I'd love to have you back here. But until then, see you later, pile 2. Bye. Hello pile 3 and welcome to your reading. You chose the Moonstone, which we have here. You also chose the Enchanted Fern Grotto and Refuge. I will just show you your cards again. We're going to go through and we're going to pick more oracle cards to get into this reading and find out what Spirit has to say to you right now. What messages you need to hear from Spirit, pile 3. Fine, there we go. That's a clear first card for you there. I will say, that's definitely yours as well. I will say if you have been conflicted about which card or stone to choose, I have noticed that we do have some messages for other from the other readings coming up that are similar. So if you did have any part of yourself that you were thinking, oh, maybe I'll go with that, maybe possibly watch more than one reading, because today feels very interesting. I just think that it's worth doing that. If that was a instinct that you were having, just follow through with that instinct. So pile 3, please. Messages from Spirit, please. I want to know about pile 3. Can you give me some clues? I have some messages, please. Okay, I think that one's coming through. One more for pile 3, please, Spirit. One more. Yes, thank you. And then we're going to go with some moonology as well. Just get these guys coming up. Can I have a message for pile 3, please? Group 3. Message for group 3. Thank you. Message for... Careful now. Message for group 3, please. Wow, you're a bit sprightly now. Okay, a nice clear message, please, for group 3. Clear message for group 3. Thank you. You've got 2. Moonology was pretty chatty just then. It's really interesting to me. Right, group 3. Let's see what you have going for you. We are starting with moonlight. Okay. We are also having sacred pool. Yes, yes. If you are feeling attracted to pile 2, I suspect that you may have some messages waiting for you there. And then we have storm fields. Okay, honey. What else do we have? Answers. I hope so. That's the point of this reading. Need some answers from Spirit. Spirit guide. Okay. Well, that's the point of this reading. I'm glad Spirit's got a sense of humor. Here we have hold your vision, fixed moon. We also have it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. And we have lastly a time to give rather than take. So pile 3. Out of all of the other cards, I can see that you may, out of all the other ones, be in a place where you are feeling pretty beaten up by the situation at hand, whichever situation you're finding yourself in. I'm seeing someone who is really asking themselves, like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? What am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to do next? I'm running out of time. Things feel like they're closing in. And I don't know what to do. I'm looking for guidance, literally looking for guidance. We're seeing this come up twice here with the Spirit guide, looking to the Spirit, looking to this reading even, looking to higher powers than us for answers about where in life we are headed, what we are supposed to do. And so I just want to say that I hear you, and we are going to find out to the best of my ability what we need to hear. At first, we have the sacred pool. I spent a lot of time talking about the sacred pool in pile 2's reading, because the sacred pool for me is a really useful way of describing self-meditation. Not that I used those words before, but in order for us to ascend our own thoughts, we really do need to actually allow ourselves to surrender in the moment to the idea that we already know some of the answers within ourselves, and that the busyness of modern day life has led us to not be able to quite fully hear ourselves, that our instinct gets dulled and distracted by a bunch of other messages that are following us throughout the day. And I'm seeing that in these cards for you, pile 3. that there's certainly answers to be found that you need to allow yourself to hear through taking refuge of some kind and taking that time for yourself to feel how you're feeling. And I can see resistance in that, because I think how you're feeling feels really scary. I can feel loneliness here. I can feel a deep sense of feeling alone, feeling like you're the only one going through something emotionally. There's some kind of taboo about talking about it as well, I'm feeling. And there's this idea of things closing in around you, that you're on your own, and that doesn't feel like a good type of being on your own. It's not feeling healing, like in a sort of hermit kind of way or a high priestess kind of way. It's feeling like you're alone because you are alone and you don't want to be, and that's not a nice, it's not a nice way to feel. So I see you, pile 3, and I'm feeling a lot of love for you if that's something you're resonating with. I think that the Moonology cards are really interesting and are worth commenting on before we go deeper into the tarot, because I do feel like I need more tarot cards to complete your reading, rather than starting with just these oracle cards, because these oracle cards are kind of like, they're clear but they're also messy for me. I need more information before we get into it. But before we do that, let's talk about these Moonology cards. We first of all have Hold Your Vision. And then we have It's Time to Take Action. And then we have It's Time to Give rather than take. I think that's really interesting. There is something about holding your ground and being true to yourself. That is a message which is pretty bloody clear. But I feel like you may feel that you're not in a position to be able to do that. And I feel that that's why Spirit is reminding you that that's completely within your right to do. That you have every right to have dreams and visions and things that you want to strive for and goals that you want to set yourself and to achieve. And not to forget that, because I do feel like right now it's almost as if you felt like, it's almost as if you're so overwhelmed or under attack that you've forgotten that you've got a right to have hobbies or have goals and ambitions of your own. That maybe you felt like you're in the situation where you're in such a defensive situation that it's hard for you to remember to live things in your life for their own sake, for yourself. To have things that you do just because you want to do them and because they matter to you. The sadness as well about, I don't know what this is about particularly. It's almost, there's a real feeling of disempowerment, pile 3. That's what I'm really getting. I really am getting that feeling of disempowerment and not knowing what to do. So I'm really glad you're here right now, because I think that we need you to hear these messages if these are resonating, because this feels like we're at a tough juncture for you right now personally. And I'm seeing Spirit wanting to connect about that. And I do think this idea of taking action is really important here. It's time to take action. It's really important that you try something new now, that it's time for you to try something different, that the situation at hand requires some new approach. And also some of that is about being able to feel that you are able to give and reconnect with community, or connect with community in the first place. This idea of a time to give rather than take, I feel like you're very much in need, but I also feel like Spirit is telling me some of the way out of not feeling so in need is actually helping others. I'm not sure exactly how to describe how that would happen. My first idea would be, if you can volunteer any of your time, you could do this remotely as well. I know there's charities where you can read books to people over the phone. There's all kinds of things you can do. So it doesn't even necessarily need to be in person if that's not an option for you. But there's certainly something about putting getting yourself out of your own head and your own circumstances, which I can objectively see are really hard, and actually getting you into a place where you're seeing other people a little bit more, so that you're able to give yourself some kind of perspective and maybe connection that you're missing right now. There's definitely a space where you're able to offer refuge for others as well as create a refuge for yourself by trying something different, because I do feel like there's something coming up here for me, that there's some kind of wallowing happening. There's grief, yes, but there's something about that turning into you choosing to play the victim more than you need to. And that's actually beginning to damage something within yourself. Something about that's becoming very disempowering. Let's go into the tarot and see what messages Spirit needs me to pick up on now. Thank you. Let me put that there. Thank you. Got the King of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles so far. I have messages for pile 3, please. Thank you. And one last one there. Thank you. Yeah. It's really interesting, actually, pile 3. I'm not convinced that a lot of this stuff is to do with financial hardships. This does feel a lot more about emotional hardships. This is telling me that you have actually more resources that you're able to share out and to give to others than you might have realized, because emotionally there's just such a depletion happening, and it's not something that what's this King of Cups about? Because there's 2 versions of events going on here. This is either you. I feel it is you. This King of Cups has always been curious to me, because it's almost as if it's like, are you someone who struggles to tell people how you really feel? That's what I'm getting. I feel like you've got this emotional depth underneath everything, and like a lot of people wouldn't know that you were struggling because you just would never let on. And you have things like, it would seem like you have things like at your disposal, so nobody's thinking, oh, they need, because you just aren't telling anybody. You're not like emotionally available like that. This feels quite private, pile 3. It feels like quite a private experience that you're having. I think that's partly why Spirit is talking to me about giving more than taking. I think it's time for you to get out of your own self a little bit more and to be a bit more present in other people's lives, because this idea of looking for answers, it's fine to do that and to take that time for yourself, and you do actually really need that too, to replenish. I feel like you might be quite introverted, but there's something, this is turning into something that's actually beginning to damage you, that you're too internal, that you do need to start letting yourself come out. Because there's things in your life that are not, they're not satisfying, partly because it's just, there's something about things that have worked in the past are not working now. 8 of Cups is talking a little bit more about, some of you are actually going through a breakup, so that is something that's going on here. And I do wonder if that's some of the reason why I'm seeing this level of loneliness and not knowing what to do. It's almost as if this happened and it wasn't quite, you guys may have been together a really long time, and now it feels like there's a choice about how to live your life. And what might even be, there's more than one choice. It's like, where do I live? What do I do? Because this version of events wasn't really in the picture. It could also be, I'm not getting it so much, it could also be the breakup is because one of you has passed away. I'm not getting that so much, but that's also, that could be part of it, where you found yourself in a situation you hadn't expected to be in, which is singleness. You're on your own, and it's like you're really feeling like you're completely on your own. Like, I'm not sure if that's actually accurate though. I wonder if that's what Spirit's tapping into with me, where it's not actually as bad as you feel it is. It feels bad. It's not necessarily as bad as that. It feels like that's the truth, but if you're leading just with your feelings and not also with your thoughts, our feelings can often lie to us. They can often tell us things that aren't true. And I do wonder about this for you right now, pile 3. Because I'm being told that there is an original version of events that you still need to hold on to here with Hold Your Vision. There are some things that even though your life has changed, even though some of the truths of your situation are now different from what they were before, even then, there is a vision, a larger way of looking at your life which has not changed and that you need to keep hold of. Spirit is telling me to get back to yourself in that kind of way. That yes, the storm fields feel like they're closing in on you, that you're stuck and you're on your own, and that in the dead of night, this loneliness is something that you're feeling, that this idea of needing to have a refuge. But at the same time, the answers can come to you in these quiet moments when you're really actually feeling empowered within yourself, where you're actually finding yourself happy, where things feel better. This is what Spirit's telling me. It's just this idea of like, you have this version of events, like the story you're telling yourself about how things are and where you fit in the world, and it's not really accurate. You actually have a lot more of the answers than you're willing to admit. The spirit guides that you have are telling you the answers, and you're maybe choosing not to hear them right now because they're not really answers that you like. But you do have enough to give. You do have enough to share. You do have enough extra. And you have another, it's almost, you're learning lessons about yourself. Like, it's too good to not share these lessons. Queen of Pentacles and King of Cups together is telling me you have a lot of resources actually going on. There's actually something very like balanced about you. It's almost like you were ready for this moment to happen. Like, you didn't want it to happen and now you're upset, and there's this grief going on, there's this loneliness going on, but you also, I think, know deep down it's actually quite good for you. There's something healthy about this ending. This 8 of Cups energy of leaving this partnership of some kind, or passing through other people's partnerships and knowing it's not quite for you. Something going on here about being happy on your own, learning how to be on your own and have that be something that's good for you. The 2 of Swords as well is interesting for me, because it's about making a choice about your circumstances. It's like the circumstance itself isn't really going to change much. Although you do have things to do. You can't just wallow in this, which is partly what I'm seeing you doing. You actually have a choice about how to cope with this. Options, either way. You can't change the situation, but you can change yourself and how you deal with the situation. This is a time to pivot. It's time to see yourself going, okay, so maybe things aren't the way that I want them to be. Maybe they haven't turned out the way I wanted them to be. But I can choose to love this too. I can choose to see the strength in this situation I'm in now. I can choose that for myself. I can choose to be happy. And you can choose this, pile 3. It's not delusional to choose to be happy with what you've got, to choose what you've got and to say that's enough. What I've got is enough. If anything, I've got more than I need, because I'm actually ready to start learning more about myself through giving to others and being a bit more engaged with other people, and to stop only focusing on myself and how I am in every given moment. It's a balance that you're needing to create, because the moonlight and the sacred pool are like one and the same. They're in the same kind of energy, except the moonlight is much more indulgent and much more internal. Sacred pool is a lot more, again, it's internal. Yes, it's indulgent, but there's still this thing where this is coming through in a healthier setting. of actually taking time to learn to know yourself rather than to mourn what has not happened in the way that you were expecting. Let's go into the tarot for some advice to end this reading with, because I need some advice for pile 3, please. I would like to know more about pile 3. Tell me what to tell pile 3. What do we need to know? What do we need to know for pile 3, please? Okay, thank you. What do we need to know for pile 3, please? Pile 3, thank you. What do we need to know for pile 3, please? Thank you. The Magician. And we have 10 of Cups. And we have the Lovers. Can I have some more, please, for pile 3? Pile 3, please. Thank you. These two. Oh, that one too, actually. Right. Let's see what we've got going on here. 3 of Cups. Ooh, 10 of Wands. And what's coming up for you is the 7 of Wands. Okay. Okay, kids. This is interesting. Oh, I can never quite get them to be central. Let's do that. Come on. I'm smiling here partly because this is really lovely to see. Up until we had we have a moment going on here with 10 of Wands and 7 of Wands. Fair enough, okay? We have a moment going on. Please ignore for the moment, because these 4 cards here are almost like a cosmic joke for me, because like from everything I've just been speaking about in your oracle in the first set of tarot, we have a situation here from Spirit where they are telling you that things are going to get so much better. This is what's coming. We have you in a position of power. We have you feeling contented, prosperous, real impetus, a real emphasis on family relationships and also romantic love and harmony. This can be with yourself if you're not someone who's looking to be paired up. That's fine. This is really talking about healthy self-love or healthy romantic love, like real connection. And this is what this card below here I'm talking about. This is what you're aiming to get to. This is about being one and happy with oneself or with another person. So if we were talking to you and you were talking about having had a breakup and that's what was resonating with you, I can see that this isn't the last relationship you're ever having. You might feel that that's how it feels right now, but it's really not. You either have another love relationship coming up, or we have another experience where you get to know yourself and you're happy without any kind of romantic love. Like you are content, like truly content. There's no yearning, there's no oh what if, there's none of that. Like you're happy single too. We have both those stories available for us here. We also, I need to tell you, you have a lot of friends coming into your life as well. I think this is what Spirit's talking about, this time to give rather than take. Like if you are someone who's going through a breakup or a particularly bad time, you need to reach out to friends, old friends too, and tell them, truly tell them. If you need them, tell them, because I feel like there's a lot of people who'd quite like to turn up and help you out. In the very least as well, if you're someone who has not managed to maintain good friendships, you're going to be making new friends, because you're going to be giving people and they're going to be taking it and they're going to be giving it back. You're going to start making healthier friendships. It's possible that this chapter of your life was kind of unhealthy and wasn't very good for you in the long term. Even though it felt like this is what it was going to be like and you're happy with it, it's almost as if now you're learning how to be happier. You're going to be learning how to feel more yourself. You're going to be learning how to be more present in your life, and you're going to be attracting people who are also like that with you. And I'm saying that this is coming because it's not going to be without its challenge, okay? 10 of Wands is telling me things are still going to feel hard. This is a very long process and Spirit has your back. And this is why they're saying, okay, sometimes you're going to feel really burnt out and you're going to feel like the demands of life are really burdening you, and like you just kind of feel exhausted and tired, and you might sometimes feel like, God, when is this going to end? But with the Seven of Wands coming through, Spirit's telling me they're only giving you they're only giving you what you can handle. They're giving you what you need to learn. Like you need to learn this lesson so that you get to this place here. Those are the answers that you're searching for. This is what the Spirit Guide wants. The Spirit Guide wants you to use your resources and your natural self and this moment that feels like a loss to turn into a gain. That you're actually going to come out of this happier, healthier, stronger. That you have so much more to give. That you have so much more to create and to share with other people. And at times you're going to feel really tired and really exhausted, and that's part of life, but you have that power to get through this. It's challenging. It requires courage, and you're excited for it. It's something that you're actually doing really well with. So, with that being said, Pile 3, I wish you all the love in the world. If you enjoyed my reading, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you back. And until then, bye, Pile 3.